Did you know you could be killing yourself without even knowing it? Most of us think of aging as something out of our control, something written into our DNA and locked away by time. But the truth is how we age and how long we live depends more on our daily habits than we want to admit. In fact, many people are unknowingly cutting off valuable years through choices that seem small and harmless in the moment. They're not just bad habits. They're quiet thieves slowly stealing our energy, mental sharpness, and time. Here's the thing. Most of them don't show up in big ways. There's no warning alarm, no hurt, no major moment. But over the years, they quietly build up until the harm is hard to fix. In this video, we're going to take a close look at 5 habits that can greatly shorten your lifespan, and we're saving the most surprising one for last. You may see some of these in yourself or someone you care about, and if you do, don't feel sad. The point of this video is not to frighten you, but to gently show patterns we often ignore and offer simple, real steps to change things around. So, if you're someone who wants to protect your mind, your body, and your time on this earth, or if you just want to feel better as you grow older, then stay with us. This might be the most valuable 10 minutes you spend today. Now, let's get started. Number 1. Chronic sleep deprivation. There's something almost worthy about staying busy, pushing through tiredness, and getting things done no matter how tired you feel. But here's what many people don't understand. Regularly cutting your sleep short is like running your body on borrowed time and with heavy cost. Sleep isn't just rest. It's repair. It's when your brain cleans out the waste, your heart slows down to recover, and your cells do their nightly upkeep. Getting too little sleep, even by just an hour or 2 a night, chips away at your mental clearness, your immune system, and your heart health. Over time, this can raise your risk of stroke, memory loss, diabetes, and even early death. The problem is sleep loss rarely feels urgent. You might feel a little cloudy, a little more easily upset, but you can still work. That's what makes it so dangerous. It gives you the false idea of normality while your body quietly falls apart underneath. You see, sleep is when your brain stores memories and clears out the waste that builds up during the day. Without enough of it, those poisons gather, affecting not just your mind, but also your mood and decision-making. You start snapping at loved ones, forgetting meetings, or struggling with focus. The days mix together. You become reactive instead of thoughtful. Now, let's talk about David, a 72-year-old retired school principal who used to brag about getting by on 5 hours of sleep. He thought it gave him more time to enjoy his hobbies, stay active, and keep up with friends. But by the time he reached his mid-70s, he noticed a steady drop in his balance, memory, and mood. After a visit to his doctor, he was shocked to learn how his long-term sleep loss was speeding up the aging process. Once he made sleep a top concern, setting a bedtime routine, staying away from screens before bed, and sticking to a schedule, he felt sharper and calmer within weeks. His relationships got better, he felt 10 years younger, and he realized that real freedom comes not from doing more, but from honoring what your body truly needs. If you've been treating sleep like an optional luxury, it's time to think again. Rest isn't a break from life, it's the base of it. Number 2. Constant low-grade stress. Some folks believe that if they're not having panic attacks or breaking down in tears, they're handling stress just fine. But stress isn't always loud. In fact, the most dangerous kind is often the quietest, the kind that hums just beneath the surface day after day, wearing you down without you even noticing. It's the small things: worrying about money, feeling unvalued, holding on to hurt, or pushing through tiredness with a forced smile. This slow burn of emotional pressure doesn't just affect your mood. It floods your system with cortisol, inflames your blood vessels, raises your blood pressure, and weakens your immune response. That's how stress becomes a silent contributor to heart disease, autoimmune disorders, and even certain cancers. You might not feel it building, but your body does. When your shoulders stay tight, your stomach stays knotted, and your breath never really deepens, that's your body stuck in survival mode. Over time, your systems become less efficient, your digestion suffers, your sleep becomes restless, and your brain stays wired when it should be calm. You start to snap at people you love. You forget where you put your keys. You feel tired but restless, present but not truly there. It's like walking through life with a heavy coat you forgot you were wearing, and it doesn't go away with a weekend off. It sticks around because the source isn't always clear, and often it's emotional weight you've been carrying for years. Let me tell you about Linda, a 68-year-old widow who kept herself busy after her husband passed away. She helped out, cared for her grandkids, went to church, and always wore a smile. But beneath it all, she carried a quiet grief, unspoken worries about her health, and a nagging feeling that she never had time to breathe. It wasn't until a routine checkup showed early signs of heart trouble that her doctor suggested a closer look at her stress levels. Linda began practicing 10 minutes of daily quiet thinking, writing in a journal in the evenings, and saying no to tasks she didn't truly want to do. To her surprise, her energy improved, her relationships felt more honest, and her health steadied. The weight didn't go away overnight, but she stopped carrying it alone. Managing stress isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about creating space to feel, to process, and to rest. Sometimes that means asking for help. Sometimes it means forgiving someone who never said sorry. And often, it just means sitting still and breathing deeply. These small shifts don't just help you feel better. They help you live longer. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I suggest you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 3, eating ultra-processed foods. Most people think of food as fuel, and that's true, but not all fuel is made equal. When your diet is mostly ultra-processed foods, things like frozen dinners, packaged snacks, sugary cereals, and fast food, you're feeding your body chemicals, preservatives, and empty calories instead of the nutrients it needs to heal and thrive. These foods are often stripped of fiber, packed with additives, and designed to be addictive. They don't just add to weight gain. They trigger swelling, unbalance your blood sugar, and weaken your gut, which is deeply linked to your immune system, mood, and even your brain function. The tricky part is that these foods are handy, cheap, and often taste good. When you're tired, or rushed, or just not in the mood to cook, grabbing a bag of chips or heating something out of a box seems harmless. But over time, the harm builds. Swelling becomes long-term, your energy drops, your skin changes, your memory feels a little duller, and you might blame it on age. But in reality, your cells are struggling to do their jobs because they're not getting the tools they need. You wouldn't expect a garden to grow well on soda and bleach, so why ask your body to? There's also the emotional side. Many people, especially older adults, turn to comfort foods when they feel lonely or nostalgic. A slice of pie reminds them of Sunday afternoons. A drive-through milkshake feels like a treat from better days. And while there's nothing wrong with enjoying food as an experience, problems begin when these foods become a daily habit instead of a rare treat. It's easy to slip into routines where the microwave becomes your main chef and colorful packaging replaces actual vegetables. The more often that happens, the more your body begins to struggle. Let me share the story of Carl, a 75-year-old former mechanic who lived alone after his wife passed away. For years, he ate out of cans and boxes, not out of laziness, but because it felt easier and familiar. He didn't notice the changes at first, just a little more joint pain, a little more tiredness, a few extra pounds. But when his blood pressure climbed and his doctor warned him about prediabetes, Carl knew he needed to change. He started simple, replacing his sugary cereal with oatmeal and fruit, swapping soda for water, and cooking one meal a day using real ingredients. Within a few months, he not only lost weight, but also noticed clearer thinking and steadier moods. The kitchen became a place of healing, not just eating. We often think that eating well means giving up joy, but it's the opposite. When your body feels nourished, life becomes lighter. The pains lessen, the fog lifts. You have more to give to others and more to enjoy for yourself. It's never too late to trade convenience for vitality. A few small changes can restore decades of health that processed food quietly took away. Number 4. Social isolation. There's a kind of silence that's louder than noise. The kind that fills a house when no one's called in days, when dinner's eaten alone, and when laughter becomes a memory instead of a sound. Social isolation doesn't just affect your mood. It slowly starves your body and mind of the connection that humans are built for. Studies have shown that loneliness can be as harmful to your health as smoking or obesity. It raises your risk of heart disease, thinking decline, and early death. But the problem is, it doesn't always look like loneliness. Sometimes it looks like independence. Sometimes it looks like keeping to yourself so you're not a burden. There's a difference between solitude and isolation. Solitude can be peaceful and feeding, especially when chosen. But isolation creeps in when connections fade and routines become rigid. Maybe your children moved away. Maybe your spouse passed on. Maybe health issues make it harder to get out. The reasons are understandable, but the impact is the same. Your brain needs stimulation. Your heart needs laughter. Your body thrives on affection. Even if it's just a hand on your shoulder or someone remembering your name. Let's talk about Eleanor, an 80-year-old who lived in the same house for over 50 years. After her husband died and her friends grew fewer, she spent most days in front of the TV. She told herself she was fine, that she liked the quiet. But deep down, she missed conversation. She missed being needed. Her doctor noticed changes: slower speech, more confusion, and signs of sadness. At her daughter's urging, Eleanor started attending a local senior center once a week. At first, she resisted. She didn't want to be seen as someone who needed help. But once she started going, everything changed. She made new friends. She laughed. Again, her energy returned. She felt like herself. Here's the truth: relationships are medicine. Community is as vital as vitamins, and being seen, heard, and loved adds years not just to your life, but to your spirit. You don't need dozens of friends or constant company. Just one person who knows your story and cares about your day can make a world of difference. If you've pulled away from people, whether because of pride, habit, or fear, it's never too late to reach out. Call someone, write a letter, invite a neighbor for coffee, open the door to connection. Because the heart, just like the body, needs regular care, and it heals faster in the presence of others. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I suggest you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 5. Always holding it in. Emotions or urine. This one might surprise you, not just because it's rarely talked about, but because it affects more people than you might think. Many folks, especially as they age, get into the habit of holding things in. And I don't just mean their emotions. I mean literally holding in their urine, often because they don't want to be a bother, or they think they can wait a little longer, or maybe public restrooms make them uncomfortable. Over time, though, this habit quietly puts serious strain on the bladder and kidneys, increases the risk of urinary tract infections, and can even add to long-term damage in the pelvic floor muscles. What seems like a minor inconvenience adds up, especially when combined with age-related changes in urinary health. But the emotional side of this habit might be even more damaging. Holding in your feelings, whether it's grief, frustration, sadness, or even joy, can create a kind of inner pressure that doesn't go away on its own. Just like pressure builds in a balloon, emotions that aren't expressed find other ways to surface, maybe through long-term pain, digestive issues, worry, or sleep problems. The human body is wise, and it always looks for release. If you don't give it space to speak, it will whisper through symptoms. And eventually, those whispers get louder. Let me tell you about Walter, a 76-year-old man who prided himself on never complaining. He grew up believing that real strength meant staying silent, not burdening others, and toughing things out. For years, he pushed through back pain, ignored signs of depression after retirement, and even avoided bathroom breaks during long outings because he didn't want to appear weak. Eventually, the mix of physical strain and emotional suppression led to a hospital stay for a severe urinary tract infection and symptoms of clinical depression. It wasn't until his recovery that Walter began to understand there's no bravery in pretending you're fine when you're not. True strength lies in listening to your body and respecting your limits. But there's an old saying, what you resist persists. And that's especially true when it comes to your health. Ignoring signals, whether it's a full bladder or a full heart, doesn't make you tougher. It makes you more open to harm. Learning to excuse yourself for a bathroom break, or to tell someone how you really feel, or to cry when you need to, that's not weakness. That's wisdom. That's the kind of self-respect that adds years to your life and life to your years. So take this as a gentle invitation. Next time your body or heart says, I need a break, listen, step away, speak up, let go. What you release today could be the very thing that heals you tomorrow. Final thoughts: the habits we've talked about today aren't always loud or clear. They don't make headlines. They don't show up with flashing red lights. But they matter. They shape the way we age, the way we feel, and ultimately how much time we get to spend with the people we love and doing the things that matter most. The good news is this: it's never too late to change. You don't need to become a different person overnight. You just need to notice the patterns that are quietly stealing from your future and choose, one moment at a time, to do something different. Maybe that means going to bed 30 minutes earlier. Maybe it means calling someone you've been missing. Maybe it's swapping a frozen dinner for something fresh or letting yourself cry for the first time in a while. Small things done regularly make a bigger difference than grand actions done once. That it's not about chasing perfection. It's about choosing care. Care for your body, care for your mind, care for your time. You've made it this far in the video, which tells me something important. You care about your life. You care about your health. You're not someone who's just letting the years pass. You're someone who wants to be here fully, someone who still has things to give and memories to make. That's not something everyone can say. And that, my friend, is something to be proud of. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hold back sharing them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and support. That if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.